Hello, this is Josh Belk with the Belk on Business Podcast. Thank you for taking a few moments to listen in today. We're going to talk today about hiring and retaining talent. One of my, I think, more enjoyable people that I enjoy listening to on television is a gentleman by the name of Tyrus. He was a professional wrestler, bodyguard, and comedian, actor, kind of really gets into a lot now, talking a lot about policy and things of that nature. But his second book, he actually had a chapter in there talking about hiring millennials. And it's a tremendous book. I think it's called Enough Said, and one you may want to consider reading if you're kind of into policy. But he gets into a lot of other areas as well. And I kind of walked away with some takeaways out of this particular chapter. It was a chapter that kind of didn't fit in with the rest of the book, as he talked about really hiring and really retaining millennials specifically. And kind of, as I read through this, jotted down some notes to kind of expand it on a little bit. And I'm going to bring some of those thoughts as well as some parallel thoughts into the podcast today. If your business is anything like mine, trying to find good people, trying to retain good people can really be almost a full-time job. It seems like, and especially if you're in an area where it requires a higher level type of a skill set, such as my accounting firm. But I think for all of us who actually have employees or team members, whatever you may call them, work for you, trying to find those good people, and then even more so, retaining them, trying to keep those employees fulfilled, satisfied, content in their work, really is something that has to be done purposefully. And I think I probably learned more from mistakes that I've made, and I have a lot to learn, as we probably all do in this particular area. But just jotted down 7 thoughts as it relates to trying to hire good quality people as well as trying to retain them as well. First thought here is to really provide a lot of clarity, both in the if you're posting some sort of an ad or a listing for a team member, as well as in the interview process, being extremely clear as to expectations. So what are you expecting from them, but also what is expected in the work as well. And this goes beyond just the kind of the day-to-day work or duties that this particular person may be doing, but also the type of person that you're looking for. I think nowadays, and this will kind of be riddled through this podcast in different forms, but really a lot of when people come in, it's just not, do I have the ability to do the work, but am I going to fit in? It's really that question is going to be of the essence, especially if you're hiring younger people. For myself, I'm Gen X, and so we look at the world a lot differently than millennials do, and then Gen Zs. I have both of my sons are Gen Zs, and they work in my business, and so dealing with that age group is completely different than when we went through the process. Most of us, a lot of us, we went to college, we graduated, and that was kind of the pathway into moving from what a lot of our parents did, and that was a lot of blue collar type work, a lot of labor type work, into more kind of white collar, and now we're starting to see things swing the other direction a little bit. But that particular mindset that we kind of really grew up in, with being our parents were baby boomers, where it's like, whether or not you like the work, you get up, you work hard, and that type of thing. And so kind of the culture and things of that nature weren't things that were talked much about. It was kind of like you get up, you work hard, you collect that paycheck, you provide for your family, that type of a mindset. And well, that's really shifted a lot. And so people that you're bringing in, especially if they're millennials into Gen Zs, they're really looking for a lot more than just, can I do the work? They really want a place that they feel like they can fit in. And I think you can hedge a lot of that if that's really clear in both your listing as well as in the interview process, trying to help them answer that question for themselves. Are they the type of person that's going to fit in to your workplace? And for you as the business owner, of course you want people who are going to fit in. What type of culture do you have? What are those core values? Did this individual align with that? When the last individual that we hired here at the firm, the team members actually went to them and asked them, what type of person are you looking for? And we hired a lady, and she just absolutely just nailed it. And it wasn't because anything that I did; it was simply just having the communication with the other team members. What type of person are we looking for? Do you feel that will fit in and really help the culture of the firm, and really kind of be a place that everybody's going to want to continue working in? And so, because that kind of that old analogy that one bad apple can kind of ruin the entire bunch, and that can very much be true. And so provide that clarity both in the listing as well as to the team member, not just in the job duties, what is expected of you from the work end, but also trying to help them understand if this is the type of person that we're looking for, and whether or not that person will fit in to into your culture, into your work environment. Number two, provide both positive and negative or constructive feedback. And so be very purposeful when you kind of bring that person on, providing feedback. It's kind of one of those things that it can be very difficult as a business owner. And I'll talk about this a little bit later on, getting feedback from the team, but really being purposeful in regards to providing the feedback, letting them know, because this is going to go back to, hey, do I fit in here? And to provide that feedback. These are certain areas that we feel like you really need to work on. Here are some strengths, and then here are some areas you need to work on, and here are some areas you're absolutely just crushing it. You're doing really, really well in this area. You're not as strong in this area. And then how can we help develop you? And so provide both the positive and negative feedback. Be purposeful about your check-ins. And so if you have a smaller office like I do, where you can literally go kind of from desk to desk, we do have remote employees, but for those that are actually in office, to be literally in your schedule, in your time, jotted down to where you're actually going around and talking to your people, sit next to them at their desk or whatever your business looks like, and just kind of have a conversation with them, and not one to where you don't want to be that type of boss to where it's, you're scaring your people and they said, oh no, something's wrong, but to sit alongside them. What are we working on? Anything that you're struggling with and that can help you with, any of those types of questions, to where they know that you're there to help them, not to rule over them, or basically just use them for your own profitability or to fulfill any sort of your own agenda that you have, that you're really on their side and you really want to see them excel, because if they win, if they excel, if they're fulfilled, you're going to find that as well in not just in the business, but also as an individual. So provide that feedback, both positive, negative, and make sure that the feedback in both ways is constructive. Number three, if possible, provide some flexibility as it relates to time, location, and work environment. And so, if you have the ability, I think the old days of coming in at 9, leaving at 5, or whatever that time frame, and there are certain types of businesses. If you're running a restaurant, for example, you have to have that. But if you have the type of business to where you can offer that flexibility, offer it. And for myself, for the most part with our team, I don't really care where they work. I don't care if they sit in the conference room. I don't care if they sit in the bathroom, if they sit outside, or if they feel like they need to stay home for the day. Fine, it doesn't matter to me. So provide that type of flexibility. And I don't mind. We have even this morning, one of our team members came in. Her boyfriend or fiance is a professional athlete and travels, and she likes to be there at a certain event. So she came in and can I come in early one day, make some extra time up here, whatever the case may be, and I'm all for it. And so I'm glad that they can have that flexibility. And if you can offer that to them, that will do a lot to help the culture of your business. And there may be times that you have to say, we're in crunch time. I really need you here, but that really should be rare. For the most time, allow them that flexibility. Even allow them flexibility, not just flex time, whatever we may, whatever that looks like inside of your business, but even with location. If they may want to sit in a different place or work with a different person for a different period of time, whatever sort of flexibility you can offer to really help that individual, to help your culture, offer it. Next, make sure that we're leading by example. We as the business owners are leading by example. And I've heard this in so many areas, this concept of working on the business, working in the business. A lot of time working on the business is I'm going someplace, I'm sitting on the beach, I'm networking with other business owners and having a good time. And that type of stuff can really, if there's a lot of that, I think really a lot more. You should be sitting there, even if you're working on the business, being there with your team. Lead by example. Work harder than your team members do. And is one of those things that you should not have a team member. And I have some team members that I feel like could probably outwork me 2 to 1. So it's kind of one of those things that it's because of the type of people that we hired and the work ethic of the team, and almost categorically every single one of my team members, they are incredibly hard workers. I don't have a lazy one amongst the bunch. And so they kind of help keep me on my toes. But it's one of those things that I want to make sure that I am putting in more effort than the people who have really invested their lives and really kind of have really kind of connected themselves to myself and the vision of the firm. And so it's kind of one of those things that don't let them down, outwork them. So work harder than your team member too, and let them see you working. Lead by example. Lead by example in every area. Lead by example in your culture. Lead by example in the time effort that you put in. And roll up your sleeves and get alongside them at times. Sit with them and do their work with them sometimes, and just let them know that you're there. You're there to help them. You're there to support them. You care about them as an individual. Next, provide opportunities for growth. And this kind of lends in a little bit with this. And when I talk about growth, it's not just moving up the corporate ladder. And kind of in this day and age, a lot of people they don't care whether or not they're a junior manager and eventually want to be a senior manager, that type of thing. There may be those types of goals, but for most of us, most of you that are listening, probably smaller business to where they're not going to be going up this big corporate ladder, okay? Really the opportunities for growth are going to be to where they can become better and more efficient, not just in their work, but also becoming better individuals. And so from time to time, we will either do training, whether it's in office. I've even sent people out of the office to where they're going, and they're developing them skills within themselves, and it may be interpersonal skills. It may be areas that have nothing to do with the day-to-day work, but helping develop them as an individual. If you have team members who maybe have struggling in certain areas, offer to get them some help, or get them some counsel, get them some support. And so keep your eyes open and watch for this. And so if a team member, sometimes if their work is slacking off, many times it may be in some other areas. It may be struggling in other areas that are completely outside the office. And it doesn't mean that we pry or whatever the case may be. But if we're aware of something, have that dialogue and get them the help that they need, get them the development that they need. And so it may be, in their role as a parent or as a husband or as a wife or whatever the case may be. And so being conscientious, and then as to the team members' needs, not just in their work, not just in the office, but also outside of that office, and then provide them whatever opportunities that you can for them, that they can develop and they can grow in those particular areas. Next, number 6, allow for feedback for you as a leader. And this can be very difficult. It can be very difficult sometimes to get team members to be honest with you and simply say, is there some areas where, now if we're self-aware, we're going to be aware of some of this, but we don't see our own blind spots. And so to ask those questions, please let me know. Where am I failing you? Where can I serve you better? Where can I help you in a better way? And if you take the feedback and your response is that of gratitude, and you actually do work in those areas, they're going to be more open with you. And so I don't want a team that's scared of me just because I, using old school analogy here, just because I sign their paychecks. And because I know if I'm going to be able to step up and serve them better, I know that the team is going to function better as well. And so I want that feedback. Ask for the feedback, take the feedback, and even if it's something you don't agree with, there has to be some truth behind it because they brought it up. And so you want to make sure that you're working on it, and then you actually show them, hey, here is some of the things that I've learned. And so, and I think this is true when it comes to other areas. If you're going someplace, for example, to maybe you are going to networking, you're going to a mastermind, or whatever the case may be, involve the team. And so whether you're there, has been times when I've traveled and been at places where I'll do a team meeting while I'm there. I'll talk to them, say, here's some things that I've learned, here's some takeaways, or some things I'm bringing back with me, whatever the case may be. And then when I get back to actually give that feedback, I wasn't just out there messing around. Okay, I was out there trying to really trying to learn something, trying to make those connections, trying to get the help that we need, and I need as an individual, and also we need as a firm, and then also allow for that feedback as well from the team, to where are some areas I can serve you better? Where are some areas that you see in myself that I'm struggling? And this can be outside the office. Okay, this can be areas you feel like, Josh, it seems like there may be something going on, and maybe something you need to consider working on. And so allow for that feedback, allow for that two-way feedback, for that dialogue. And next, number 7, lastly here, foster a positive, inclusive company culture. And I'm not talking about the DEI, woke, all this kind of stuff. I despise most of that. What I'm talking about here is that you have a company culture that fits the team that you have. And so you develop that, you're bringing in the right types of team members to where everybody is welcome. You're going to have people with different personalities, that type of thing, and you should welcome all of that. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to, check a box when I'm hiring someone. I don't think that you should as a business owner. I think that you find the person that has the best skill set that's going to fit the culture, the best person, regardless of what they look like, regardless of their personal life, whatever the case may be, that's going to fill that seat inside of your business. And so, and have that culture to where everyone is welcome, and you know what, it's something you have to do purposefully. And I use that word a lot. And I've used it a lot in this podcast, is something you have to do with purpose. It does not happen by accident. And so to have that culture to where it's positive, it's inclusive, a culture that's supportive, team members support each other. You as a business owner, you support the team members. They support you as well. A workplace that is fun, that's enjoyable, place they want to come to. Granted, every day is not going to be fun. We had just this last Friday was one of the more difficult days I've had inside of the business. And we have one team member out on maternity leave. We have another one that got married over the weekend. And those were wonderful things. But we're a little bit short-staffed. It's a little bit more stressful, and it was difficult. Those types of days, and I would say last Friday inside of the firm was not a fun day. The day started off bad. It didn't end much better. Okay, and you're going to have those types of days. And most of us, we went to a wedding on over the weekend. It was a lot of fun. And then we came back in today, had our team meeting this morning, and kind of hit that reset button a little bit. And so understanding there are going to be days that are going to be difficult. However, overall, that you have a company culture that is fun, that is enjoyable, that is fulfilling for the team members that are there, that is inclusive, and that is overall positive. Once again, this is Josh Belk with the Belk on Business Podcast. Thank you for taking a few moments to listen in today. Hopefully you picked up a point or two and something you can utilize inside of your business. Have a wonderful day.